And this week we're going to be talking about
Which dictator can't teleport?
COVID-19 and people you may not think that are affected by it.
A priest with a super soaker.
Finding treasure in your Gran's house.
We might not be able to watch live football, but sex dolls can.
Broom and machete wielding Aussie men into foreplay break into the wrong house.
All this and more on this week's Celts in the Caribbean. Enjoy.
Welcome to Celts in the Caribbean, as Alan would say, Bonaire's #1 podcast.
As the world would say. I'm pretty sure we're at the top of every chart, every genre on Bonaire.
I believe so too. But
I do think there is one. I think there's a yogi podcast.
Is there?
I think so. I heard it once.
Oh.
So we might have competition.
We might have competition. Well, different content.
Yeah.
At least I would hope so.
It was recorded in a car, so.
Oh, this is definitely better. This is recorded in a shed, pretty much.
Sure.
It's definitely a step up. We are into day 5,600 of COVID-19.
I have no idea what day it is. It is actually a Celts in the Caribbean first. That it's not a Saturday we're recording. We're having a Sunday session today.
Look at that. Gotta love a Sunday sesh.
It's getting hot on Bonaire.
Oh, God.
It's getting sweaty.
You might hear the rumble of a fan in the background, but...
You been up to much this week? What have you been up to? Anything exciting?
Not a lot exciting. Work. That wasn't too exciting, but making curtains. Oh,
Getting my Sunday session wine on the go.
getting your ASMR.
My communal wine.
That is like a pint. I love it.
I must say, listening to Celts in the Caribbean is probably not a substitute for going to church.
What are we starting with this week, Alan?
Well, this week I've spent most of my week thinking about my favorite Brad Pitt movies. So,
Of course.
Yeah. What's your favorite Brad Pitt movie? I mean, I'm putting you on the spot here. I've had an entire week to think about it.
I do like Seven.
Seven's a good one.
Yeah. Fury. I like that.
Oh, in the tank.
Yeah.
Well, my favorite. These are both incorrect answers, by the way.
What's your favorite? Incorrect.
My favorite is actually it's more of a cameo. It's 12 Monkeys.
Oh yeah.
Remember that one with Bruce Willis?
Yeah.
And so my first story this week, boom, seamless link, is kind of like a 12 Monkey story. Oh, I didn't pull my notes up. This one comes from Delhi in India, I believe. And I did actually fact check this one. So we try to, we kind of wade through the news and come up with the funny stories of the last couple of weeks. And I did fact check this one because this one seemed ridiculous. And I'm not saying it is 100% true, but it came up on a few news feeds that from Meerut Medical College in Delhi, monkeys, I guess they were testing on them, attacked a lab assistant and escaped with COVID-19 samples. So, did you see this?
I read this.
Was this in your one?
Yeah. I had it on Distractify, but it came past on BBC today.
So for the BBC's on there, I'm usually pretty happy. So it was what kind of monkey was it? It was a red-faced rhesus macaque, which are pretty renowned for being quite intelligent, and he stole 3 blood samples. They were seen later on rampaging around up trees, chewing on the samples. Hence my mind wandering to the 12 Monkeys
and his,
mainly Brad Pitt.
#1 shirtless scenes.
Yeah. What made me do a little bit of extra research is the last sentence here on the news report I had is that it is the latest example of highly intelligent red-faced rhesus macaques. Macaques? No, I'm questioning myself.
No, I actually don't
know. Taking advantage of India's nationwide lockdown to combat the spread of coronavirus. I think this has been written a little bit incorrectly, because it does sound like the rhesus monkeys have been putting on little lab coats and taking advantage of Indians' lockdown
they're actually
in order
all
to
over
combat.
they're all over the streets now because there's no well, the population is indoors, supposed to be at least.
I know, but
rampaging, yeah.
I just mean the way it's written. It sounds like the rhesus monkeys are actually using everybody inside to. They're personally combating coronavirus
with their high intelligence and
so
their
they're
lab
out
coats.
there. That's what they needed the blood samples for. They needed to take it to the head guy, and they're gonna come up with a vaccine.
What a
quicker
bizarre
than,
story, though. Really, I mean, like they found them in the trees eating the packaging.
Yeah, just
and they managed.
chewing on the blood
Supposedly,
samples.
they managed to get them to get the packaging or get everything back and store the samples, but they resampled the group that would have been stolen from.
Correct.
But it's like a sci-fi movie, right?
Yeah, I mean they say everything was intact, but I feel like you have to. Like, it's like if somebody's looking at it, it's oh yeah, everything's fine. Yep, no problems here.
Nothing to look at here, except a
the
monkey in
rhesus
a lab
monkey,
coat.
it wasn't drinking the test blood. No, that would be ridiculous.
It's just like shooters. These guys are carrying. What were they transporting? Like these really important samples on? Was it on a bike? Like how the hell were they transporting it?
Oh, I think this happened in the lab.
In the lab.
So they attacked the assistant and then managed to escape the lab.
Oh
so
my
I don't
God.
think so. I think these monkeys were probably test monkeys. So I don't think they were just like wild monkeys.
Did your news article say anything? Because I didn't know about this other. It's not related to COVID-19, but it's related to the monkey problem that they have. That to counteract the monkey problem of the red-faced macaques or macaws or whatever it is, that they brought in larger monkeys that would scare them away. So
It's a big monkey, is it? What, they're bringing in baboons, and then they're like, oh, now we've got too many baboons.
Let's get a gorilla. You see a fucking gorilla walking down the street.
Who's got King Kong's phone number? Because fucking hell, these silverbacks are...
Yeah, I just thought that was really interesting that they were using like big monkeys, bigger, to scare them.
But, like, are they... Is it maybe mannequin monkeys? Like, how sometimes you put a fake owl up there to scare off pigeons? This is real monkeys.
Real monkeys. But then it didn't go into depth because I know this is it's a fantastic story, but then it caught my attention then on the other part of it with the big monkeys. So I was like, do they have them on leashes? Like, is there just like someone walking down the street with a big fucking baboon on a leash? Like going, chase him. Go on.
Maybe it was just Dom Jolly dressed up, running around, getting in the faces of the lab monkeys.
Yeah. Well, it is a corker of a story, and I would say it's true, man. It's been covered by a couple of places now, so yeah.
All right, fact checked.
Fact checked. Done. Staying in, well, I suppose, Asia, Southeast Asia. Did you see the thing from Singapore with Spandau Ballet?
No, Spandau, classic Scottish band? No?
I don't.
Spandau Ballet?
I actually don't know. I thought maybe English, but yeah, check it. But
fact check it.
the story is that the local radio station in Singapore was running this campaign where you pretty much had to listen to the radio all day, every day. And they would give you clues. And the competition was that you had to name 14 voices that you hear. So you get a voice introducing the radio station, and then you have to guess who the voice is, right? So it could be any celebrity. So it's a really, really, really difficult. It's a really difficult game to play. You can't get all 14 at once, so you have to be like, I'll let someone else do 13 of them, and then I'll try for the 14th.
I did see this one.
You did see this one, right? Okay. So the guy rang in, and he went through his list of 14, and he filled in the 14th one, which was Stevie Wonder. Read them out, and the guy goes, "Oh, so sorry, you got 13 out of 14." And the guy was like, "Oh, it mustn't have been Stevie Wonder." Then fast forward 4 days later, another caller rings in, says the exact same 14, and he wins a $10,000 prize. And then, because we're in the age of social media, everyone started to get on it. Hey, this was the same list was read out 4 days ago. Why didn't you? Didn't you give him the money? So the guy was like, "Oh my God, I won the money, but they didn't give it to me." So he contacted them. They say, "Well, sorry, you didn't pronounce Tony Hadley's name correctly." So they released it, how he had said it, and it was a slight difference, but it also could have been down to an accent. So the guy was like, "You know what? This money could have meant a lot to me." So he contacted Tony Hadley directly through his manager, and he got a personal response via video from Tony Hadley saying, "Listen, I don't know how much you were supposed to win in this competition, but you said my name correctly, albeit with an accent, but."
Did Tony say that?
Yeah.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, no shit, he did. He's like, "You said it, but you said it with an accent, but you still said my name correctly." So then the guy had this ammunition to go back. So he goes to the radio station again, and they're like, "Yeah, sorry, he still said it incorrectly." But then they're like, "Hey, Tony Hadley himself here said that you said it correctly." So it was like such a back and forth.
And end up backtracking a little bit.
And they backtracked a little bit.
Good for him, man.
And
It was a decent amount.
He got 5,000 at the end. He didn't get the full 10,000. They give him hush money to just get him to shut the fuck up, because he was going on all the rival media stations, and everyone was bagging that radio station. So it was just to stop it. Right?
Oh, well, they probably got $5,000 worth of advertising out of it.
Yeah, probably. And the point is, I mean, the $5,000 it went. I think the guy was like, "It's more about principle than money," but I'm sure the $5,000 went to a good home.
And Spandau Ballet, just checked, they are a London-based band. So I think I just assume everything that's epic is Scottish. Yeah. Or I got Spandau Ballet confused with the Proclaimers, one of the two. They're very similar.
Very similar. Similar haircuts.
All right, we'll stick over in Asia for this next one. We're going to switch over to... We've actually got some sports going on. I've got a few sports news. Actually, I've got for later one of my favorite sports stories of the year, if not
go for it
ever. Oh, you're not getting that right now.
Oh,
I'm like,
you're such a tease.
I know. I'm just like carrot throwing that out there.
You know how I love carrots.
This one is I'm heading over to South Korea for this one. So the South Korean football, this was quite heavily publicized, so you might have seen it. But I think Germany, they've started up the football again. So FC Seoul has had to apologize because they're playing the games behind closed doors, and they have filled their stadium, with sex dolls. So instead of having people in the stands, they put 30 mannequins in there. Apparently, they're premium mannequins.
Premium means sex doll.
They are not sex dolls, but they have admitted that they did buy them from a sex doll manufacturer. But they were premium mannequins. If you were interested in the ratio, it's 28 female to 2 male. So,
okay.
Yeah, so it's quite a...
Some alarm bells there already. 28 females versus 2 males at a football match?
A little bit of alarm bells. And also... which didn't help them was that quite a few of them were advertising an X-rated website.
I love it.
And look, I think the spokesman for FC Seoul was like, "I don't even know what sex dolls are. I don't know this is a thing," and it was just all very unlikely. It was unfortunate.
I don't know what sex dolls are. I use prostitutes.
But I don't know how. Do you think the players would be more motivated with a 30,000 stadium with 30 sex dolls in it, or do you think it's just maybe a waste?
Yeah, I think you're pissing in the wind there, right? I mean, I think Japan really targeted this one in a better way. You seen that?
I've not.
They was this evening I was reading it before it came out that they had I think was it Yamaha came up with it, and so they have like Yamaha speakers all around the stadium, giving the sounds of a football ground during match play.
See, that I get. That makes more
Exactly.
sense than $36.
Exactly. I don't. If you're used to like a crowd and the noise and that.
Well, while we're over in that, I've got some shocking news coming out of North Korea. This is coming from. This is probably my most random news source. It's Radio Free Asia, which I don't think we've used Radio Free Asia before.
Yeah. Do you subscribe to it or?
I mean, every morning I get my updates, my notifications. So this came from the North Korean state media has admitted that the North Korean founder, Kim Il-sung, brace yourself, did not have the ability to teleport. So I know we all thought that he was a godly-like figure that could teleport around, but apparently the state media has had to release a statement. This is recent news, even though this was from the
And
the
then
30s
you
or
wonder
something.
why they would have to release such a statement. Were people like starting to question it, or were people like, if he could do it, why could Kim Jong Un not do it?
You son of a bitch! You're gonna ask questions on this one.
Sorry.
All the information.
Sorry.
I don't know if I kept
When
it
you
up.
talk about North Korea, I just
It was a really
Just
quite
love it.
long article. Radio Free Asia like to waffle on a little bit. Okay, I'm just
Don't
going to
worry
choose
about
one
it.
paragraph, read it, and that's all the information you're
Okay.
getting. In North Korea, Kim Jong-un, his father Kim Jong-il, and his grandfather Kim Il-sung enjoy godlike status, built up by a state-driven cult of personality. Countless myths tell of their purported exploits, some of which are taught to children in school lessons. Some tales distort documented history about the eldest Kim early history and his son's birthplace. So, I mean, this is from... So, it's not, well, there's a photo here, 1945. I don't know the details of
it
when
doesn't show
exactly
him
North Korea
getting
was.
into a time machine with Doc.
No, teleporting, mate. It's not a time machine. He's not going through time. He's just zipping around North Korea. Like, boom, I'm here 1 minute. Boom, I'm here the
Yeah,
next.
but he still uses like a 1940s green train. That is like, I'm pretty sure it's a steam locomotive as well. It's like, how the fuck are you teleporting when you're still using 40s?
That would be
Technology.
that would probably be my first suspicion of why why are you using this if you can teleport?
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god.
Yeah, but like there's other things like the classic myths of him being able to drive from the age of 3 and shooting a 38 under par round of golf with 5 holes in 1 on his first attempt at the sport.
Sweet.
We were actually going to go and play. There is a golf course on Bon Air. We'll give a little shout out to them,
Yeah.
although they wouldn't let us play today. But they had the PGA were visiting, so there was
Yeah,
a
they
golf
had a
tournament
competition on today, so we couldn't play.
Now I know what you're thinking. Is like I don't know an awful lot about Bon Air, but I think it's a desert island, and well, not quite a desert island,
No,
but
I don't think
essentially
you're far off. Yeah. Yeah,
it's a coral island. So
It's
we
pretty
are
arid.
pretty dusty. Arid is the best description. So this golf course doesn't have grass. I've never played on it, but you know, being Scot, the sport is in my blood. So I don't know if do you get a little bit of turf, like a little bit of AstroTurf to take
Honestly,
around, or you just fuck your clubs around and.
I don't know. Like, I mean, if you hit a divot, like, does that mean the end of your driver, or you know what I mean? Like,
Is it just 18 holes of like sand traps?
yeah, it's just one big sand trap. I was telling one of the lads that on Friday, one of the lads from back home, about this, and he's like, "Hey, that's a piece of information you never knew," and he told me that that's how Sevi Ballesteros started. He
On
started
Bon Air.
no, not on Bon Air.
He's I want to say from the Canary Islands, no?
Yeah, I think so. Actually, yeah.
Tenerife, I
Yeah,
think.
he started out actually just playing on the beach.
Although
just
now
in sand.
now that I say that Spandu Ballet is Scottish, I'm gonna have to fucking double check Sevi Ballesteros now.
I think you might be far off. I would have, if I didn't know, I would have just given an umbrella term, Spain. But yeah, it's Spain somewhere. But yeah, he used to practice on the beach, and he put an umbrella upside down, and that's what he was lobbying into. So he would like give himself distance ranges and chip and drive and so on. So Yeah. I think there's hope for us, Alan.
Yep. He's 6 foot tall, if you're interested. Born on 9th of
Absolutely
April,
not.
1957, from Pedrina, Cantabria, Spain. I don't know where I got Tenerife from. Maybe that's on Tenerife. Who knows? Who cares? Don't
Oh, you're the worst researcher.
I am amazing for general knowledge facts if them being true is not important.
Yeah, but we had like a specific question there, and you came back and said, he's 6 foot tall. He's got blue eyes.
We'll mention him next week. I'll be like, wait, isn't Sevi about? He's 6'6". All right, so we just had our first beer run of the episode. There's still so much more to come. I've 3 kind of Pornhub related stories. None of them are actually Pornhub, but whenever I mention Pornhub, our viewing figures go up. So
They spike?
They spike like a no, never mind.
What are you going to say? The graph looks like a giant penis.
But we're on sports, so let's just keep running with it. I've got a Kylie Jenner story coming up later on as well.
Okay. I don't have any sports stories. I will go on to a pretty good story about. Well, it comes from.
What do you want my sports story?
Wait, go for it. Have you got a sports story?
Yeah,
go for it.
Wasn't the last story yours? I'm getting confused. We're talking about Sevi Biles. Yeah, you were talking about golf. I'm going to talk about tennis.
Okay.
All right. So we have Laura Curran. She is
makes you happy, Alan.
Tennis always makes me happy. Or pickleball. Now that I'm getting lazy.
And that's where you drop your testicles into vinegar, is it?
If you've not played I'm not going to go into pickleball right now. That's fun. Enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
So this was a news conference, so they're trying to get tennis back on the television or at country clubs or wherever the fuck you play tennis. So the county executive, she was doing a press release on how we're going to do tennis now that we've got coronavirus. How we're going to social distancing's not too bad, maybe unless you're playing doubles, but it reminded me a little bit. Have you seen The Life of Brian?
Yes.
Do you remember the scene where they've taken Brian to see the emperor, and like they're talking about Biggest Dickus and his friend, and he they get totally derailed.
Buttocks.
Exactly. And the 2 Roman soldiers are in danger of getting beheaded because they can't stop laughing at the guy's name's
Yeah, go ahead.
This is what happened in this press conference, but with the security guards. So Laura maybe should have ran past what she was going to say before she did the press conference. So you can kick someone else's balls, but you can't touch them. So you've got to kick the... and also, so... I fucked this all up.
No, but she preceded it by being like really, really. She was skirting around saying anything that might be construed as like a dirty thought, and then she just like looks up from her paper and then says like, "Okay, you can like, what is it like? You can touch other people's balls, but you can't. You can kick other people's balls, but you can't touch them." And then like the 2 guys like start busting their shits.
Yeah,
laughing,
they're just
and
like
she's
staring.
like, "Oh
at
god."
She's also saying to avoid confusion between whose balls are whose, you can use a marker like a Sharpie and mark them with an X, or possibly put your initials on them. So yeah, she had maybe should have run that past somebody beforehand.
Actually, there's a good tennis story that came out a couple of weeks ago. Did you know Wimbledon took out pandemic insurance?
When?
They took out pandemic insurance like 8 years ago.
Smart.
Yeah. So they took it out after MERS or SARS.
Mm-hmm.
And in case that there would be anything that might cause a lockdown or freedom of travel. And the payout was unbelievable. Like this is like the first time I think that Wimbledon has been closed in like 100 years.
So is that covering everything from all the ticket sales to all the strawberries and cream that
No,
would have
but
been
just because you brought it up, were brought up the tennis thing. It's just triggered in my head. But I think they start to make £100 million on the insurance policy.
Nice.
They paid 10 million or something. These figures, for those listening, are not accurate because I don't have them written in front of me.
Total bollocks, probably.
No, but I think it was like 10 million a year or something like that they were paying in like pandemic insurance. But like now, Wimbledon is closed because of the pandemic. Will be. So they're going to be able to cash in on this incredibly weird insurance policy.
It's quite fortuitous.
Pandemic
10 million
insurance.
a year is quite a lot for...
Check it out, man.
And yeah, fucking hell. I mean, if they've been paying for 8 years, they're making 20 mil, saving a little bit on the old having to pay Federer.
I can check it at the next break, and I'll get back with the correct figures. But it's a really good one because it's actually someone who's winning from this.
Actually, because of the way things are going, Federer has become the number one paid sportsman in the world. Because I guess tennis stars are so heavily reliant on marketing dollars. So because tennis is quite a high end, so you'll see him advertising Rolex watches and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So he's overtaken the likes of I think Messi was in there. Some of the other Neymar was in there. So but a lot of them get like so much of their money from actually playing the games and player bonuses.
Oh, really?
But because I think it was something heavy, like 90% of his income comes from endorsements. And he's still getting those.
Oh wow! So he just gets paid regardless, and then other people have to actually play to get paid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh wow! And there's quite a few tennis players in there, and the number one female was I think it was the Japanese girl that beat Venus Williams. Can't remember her name, but she was up there as the highest paid female athlete.
Huh.
But my favorite sports story in the history of the world, possibly, I've actually still got two more. We've not had sports for a few months, so
no.
It's okay to be a sports-dominated episode.
Yeah.
I'll go with my favorite one. This one actually comes from the Cleveland Indians. So they're from Cleveland. And it's a baseball team, if you don't know. And what I love, so they went through their 2019 season, and a lot of the media, they put out photos of their players, press releases, all this kind of high-end quality stuff they were putting out. They just released on the 20th of May that on 39 of the graphics that they put out there, they hid Nicolas Cage.
No way.
So, on your so people are looking through their programs, they're looking on baseball TV, they're looking for all these hidden.
I wonder did Nicolas Cage give his permission for this? I wonder if he's a Cleveland Indians fan.
I have no idea. I don't know if
that would be interesting to
I don't know,
find out.
if you can copyright your face, but so here's.
J-Lo
I'm just gonna show you how it is not obvious. It's tricky. So here's one of the photos that came up. Fuck off! How did you get that straight away?
It was the only place that there was another face.
You can see. Oh man, good job! Right, straight away.
Give me more.
So this was Nicolas Cage. It says I have no idea who this is, but he has a sunflower tattooed on his arm.
I don't know. He looks like
Nicolas
the kid from
Cage.
Dazed and Confused.
Can you see Nicolas Cage in this one?
I can. Can he see you?
It's just a photo of Nicolas Cage. What about this one?
This one's harder.
Okay.
Let me check.
This one's from September the 15th, 2019. What we'll do is I'll post the article
there
on our Facebook. Oh, got him in the cleavage.
Oh, that is good.
So they have 39 images. They only released it a couple of days. People have found about 10 of them so far, so it's a bit of a scavenger hunt. And
that is brilliant publicity.
So if you're a Cleveland Indian fan, start going through all your 2019 paraphernalia, see how many Nicolas Cages you can find, and we'll post this on Facebook so you can play yourself. Play along.
The more the merrier with
Don't-
Nicolas Cage.
Don't bother to send me if you find them, 'cause don't care. But great story.
Yeah. Do you have any more sports stories?
Last one,
Go for it.
and it's starting to ease into our pornography
I love
section
it,
of
because that's my next story.
Perfect. There we go. Okay, so have you heard of the New Orleans Saints?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. NFL superstars expected to win like a Super Bowl at some point. They're been pretty close the last couple of seasons. I think this is just a massive marketing thing. But so their stadium is called the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. All right.
Okay.
So
Catchy.
yeah,
Love it.
obviously
Who
sponsored by
are these?
Mercedes.
Oh,
Yeah,
Mercedes.
surprisingly enough.
Sweet.
Yeah, Ford didn't pay for that to be on there. So there is a company called Strip Chat
Okay.
so at the end of the year, Mercedes-Benz is no longer the stadium. The rights are lapsing, so
Okay.
people can put in bids in order to become the New Orleans whatever Superdome. So Strip Chat has put in a $15 million offer for naming rights. So $15 million, so that it will be called the Strip Chat Superdome. And they are, I had to look this up, I didn't know. They're the world's leading, or one of the world's leading adult webcam sites.
Wow.
I have a feeling
They
this
won't
is
get it.
I think they know they won't get it.
But it's going to be good publicity,
it's
right?
this was on the BBC in the most top 10 most popular thing. So they've done a phenomenal effort of marketing. 15
And
million.
now they're on Celts in the Caribbean. The sky's the limit, really, for them.
I feel like our demographic is probably much more likely to use that information.
Strip
for
chat,
wrong.
you say? What is the Earl?
Yes. So that is Celts in the Caribbean sports section.
That was your sports
done
roundup for today
for
from
this
our
month,
sports
this
correspondent.
week. Yeah. It's been a while.
Did you see? This is from SBS in Australia. I still follow Australian news after leaving there because they've got some quirky shit that happens there. So I really enjoy reading about stuff in the mornings, and I don't know if it's made it to across the pond, so to speak. But did you see about the Aussie men that were hired for role play?
Yes,
You did?
This is going
It's-
viral.
okay.
This is- yeah.
Okay. So, two men hired in a chat room to perform role play for another man. They would be offered $5,000 between the two of them for this fantasy that this guy wanted to live out. So the fantasy was that he would have two men break into his house, tie him up, and then stroke him with a broom.
Oh, so sexy.
I'm just getting chubby from thinking about it.
Would
but,
you do that for $5,000?
Probably not.
They found them on Facebook. And it was that.
Yeah, I'm not sure about it.
Okay, so for $5,000, these
I'm not
guys
sure.
gonna come in, stroke him with a brush in his underwear. What could possibly go wrong, Ewan?
I really don't know. Maybe I'd like get the wrong brush. I'd get like a really coarse yard brush or something, and then he would have to go to hospital. But that wasn't.
Or bring
the
a
case.
mop. And he's like,
bring a
"Oh."
mop. Oh, stop tickling
You
me.
had one job, mate. You had one job.
So in the time that the guy had arranged this with the two men, he had moved premises, and the occurring events where that they broke into the same address. However, it was a different occupant.
He forgot to tell him.
He forgot to tell
moved.
them.
So I assume there must have been a bit of time between
Exactly.
arranging it. So there must have been an element of surprise. Like I don't
want to know when you're going to
it's
do
gonna-
it, but just
Just
do
fucking
it.
brush the
Just-
shit out of me.
Yeah. So yeah, they went one step further and they took machetes, of course. Because it wasn't weird enough already. They
Yeah.
were like, let's make it fucking weirder.
Well, when I read that, I was like, this is the kind of like the rape fantasy kind of thing, and it was like, okay, this is where this story's going, and then it was like his fantasy was to get brushed, and I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, exactly. What? Why'd you bring the machetes? So he went in, or the two guys went into the apartment. The poor guy who had moved into the apartment woke up with two men standing over him with machetes, and immediately realized this was not the man. And one guy put out his hand and said, "Sorry, mate."
Yeah. They shake
They shook hands and left.
Sorry, mate.
And then they contacted your man, I would say probably via Facebook again, and went to his address, where the guy then said, "Hey, you're not taking those machetes in here." Went into the house, and then they called the police and explained the whole situation.
They also got the client cooked them bacon and eggs and noodles.
Oh, no way.
Bacon, eggs, and noodles while they were there. So
That's
and they were arrested a short time later. What it doesn't say was within that short time.
Did they brush him?
Did he get a brushing? A basil brushing.
That's a brushing.
For $5,000, mate. Surely, like, there's cheaper ways. Like, just maybe hire a cleaner and accidentally fall over.
Walk through a fucking car wash in your underwear. What's wrong with you?
Throw yourself in front of one of those industrial street sweeping machines.
Yeah, for 1,000, I'll tie you to my car and go through a fucking car wash. No problem.
I have a feeling there's probably more happening with the brush handle.
Sweet Lord.
For $5,000.
My head actually did not go there, but
that's not. If you're being interviewed by whatever the Australian equivalent of CNN, you're probably not going to bring up. It's like, oh, he wanted brushed, and you give the absolute minimum amount of information.
Yeah.
His mum's probably watching. Oh, it's little Jimmy's on TV. How you doing? Oh, and there's his friends Bruce and fucking. Oh.
I thought you said you were a street cleaner, Bruce.
Yeah.
No.
Fucking hell.
So yeah, that was my forage into somewhat of pornography. What about you?
I think I hit my 3 already. I sneaked them out because it was the sex dolls.
Yeah.
Korea.
Okay, gotcha.
It was Strip Chat for the Superdome, and it was the Australian sexual fantasies brushing.
I saw the two French kids that struck gold over the pandemic period.
Literal gold?
Yeah, literal gold. What's the craziest thing that you found? You go to your grandparents or your older relatives and that, and you're just like fucking around outside playing fort or whatever, and you come across shit, in the workshop or whatever, and you go, "Oh my god, this looks expensive."
Not necessarily expensive, but my uncle used to be into his metal detector things. So and he loved old photography as well, like the glass plates.
Oh wow!
So I loved that he'd always rummage around in there. So where they lived was on the coast where German bombers and stuff used to go over, and so they'd find some serious artillery and old bits of planes and all that kind of stuff. And
you would kind of come across it if you go to the house, he would show it to you and stuff.
He was a mechanic, so he had a little section of his garage that would have all the bits and pieces that he found, and old cannonballs and stuff, and that was really cool. And then he ended up setting up a little museum for. So when he bought the garage, he was rummaging through the loft, and there was a crate of old glass photographs, or glass negatives.
Okay, yeah.
And then he ended up having them all produced, so all these beautiful black and white
done an
photographs,
exhibition of it.
and ended up just setting up kind of a greenhouse sized thing beside his garage, and and set it all. The photographer was called John Wood. He was quite a famous Scottish photographer, and
that's really cool. And I'm happy I said that, because these kids, they went. It was during lockdown in France, and the parents decided to take the kids out of the city in Paris, and they moved to the grandmother's house. Kids weren't in school, so bored off their tits, so they started just doing what kids used to do, and they were making forts. So they go into it's in the grandmother's, their dead grandmother's house, and they're going around the house and they're looking for sheets to create the fort and stuff. So they pick up a sheet, pull it, and two things like fall out of it. So they pick them up and they put them away, and they tell their dad about it. So dad's like, no, show me what it is, like what came out of it. So then the dad goes back over and he's like,
the dad's got an unusual French accent.
yeah. Where do you get that, son? No, so then the dad goes back over and he's like, oh wow, they look like scabbards for knives. And then started inspecting it more and more, and then he realized that they were gold blocks. And he then sent them off for appraisal to make sure that everything was legit. And it turned out that the father there, that his mother had purchased these gold bricks back in the 60s, and she had all the certificates and everything for it, and she had never told them about it, and she had just wrapped them up in sheets.
Was the mother passed by this point?
By the sounds of it, they don't. In the article, it doesn't say like that the mother had passed, but by the sounds of it, that they had to do that much investigative work. Then it kind of sounded like it was left. It wasn't and nothing was.
Son, take this pillow down to grandma.
Yeah,
just put it over her face and hold it down.
You'll like this sheet.
It's a game. Me. It's a game.
No, so the two kids came across these two gold bars, valued at $43,800 each.
Holy shit! And there's two of them.
Two of them.
Fucking A.
Two like fucking 10-year-olds and
all right,
9-year-old or whatever. Like,
you get a treat. We're going to McDonald's.
Exactly.
Only the 99-cent menu.
Yes. Don't go nuts. But if you were the dad, what would you do with it? Would you put it into like a fund for them? Because technically it was the kids that found it.
Absolutely not. I'm all about
We're buying a Porsche. Family car.
Yeah, no. Like, I want them to find their own way. Fuck them. It's like, all right. You're going to go and stay with the auntie for a little bit.
I thought that was a nice
I'm
story.
going to the Maldives. Yeah,
yeah, exactly, yeah. Go build forts somewhere else. See if we can get a Christmas vacation out of it.
All right. Talking about big amounts of money, I said I've got a Kylie Jenner story. Now I think about it, I think I was thinking of Caitlyn Jenner. Caitlyn's the super famous one.
Caitlyn is the Olympic athlete that used to be Bruce.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought that was... Oh, anyway. Okay, so Kylie Jenner. Who's the one that did the
and that in itself is a really great
So it's
sentence.
it's the Jenners and the Kardashians are kind of like intertwined, and then which was the
you talking about the billionaire, the self-made billionaire?
Yeah,
Kylie.
That's Kylie. Okay, so it's Kylie Jenner. She heartbreaking news for her this week. She has been degraded. She is off the Forbes billionaire list. Apparently, there's been a little bit of manipulation of the numbers of how popular her.
I've already given money to the GoFundMe page to get her back in there.
I'm devastated for her. I don't know how she's gonna get by on just multi-millionaire.
Yeah, on that 900 million. I don't know how she's gonna get by. I love how it's always said like self-made.
I know.
I just started with a small 20 million loan from my parents.
I just made this really nice, unique rouge lipstick, and then suddenly everybody bought it. But we're the world's first trillionaire the last couple of weeks.
No
Your man Jeff Bezos is now a trillionaire, so it's the world's first trillionaire.
Wow. Do you think that Jeff started COVID-19 so he could hit this?
I think we should definitely go into that.
That's a conspiracy theory waiting to happen right there.
There's so many conspiracy theories flying around. Oh, actually, one that I didn't write down is that, and we no longer have to worry about getting COVID because of the 5G, because I've purchased this $400 USB stick that you plug in and protects you and your family from 5G. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. It's got the special crystals, right?
Special
it's totally
crystals.
worth it.
Yeah, I mean, the crystals are essentially a sticker that you put on, but it's only 128 megabytes. But everybody uses the cloud these days, so it doesn't really matter how big it is. But for $400 to not get COVID from 5G, it seemed like a bargain. So I bought like a solid dozen of them just to throw around Bon Air and
Back in the day
population.
when mobile phones started to like explode on the scene, everyone was like, "Oh my God, you're going to get cancer from your mobile phone." So do you remember the people who were like, "Don't put it in your pocket, you're going to get testicular cancer"?
Yes,
and all of that.
I don't know.
Yeah. So my mum, she didn't own a mobile phone. I don't think she knew how to operate one for maybe 10 years after that. But she like bulk bought a bunch of something similar to this. And
to stop her getting testicular cancer?
No, so she would sell them to other people. Swear to God.
Oh man,
and you've
amazing.
You've met my mum, right? So you know she's an Irish mammy. And
she's a hustler.
But she was a hustler at heart, huh? It's just a sticker that you put on the back of your phone that lit up whenever you were working on your phone, so it was like flashing.
Testicles in danger.
Exactly right. So this thing was supposed to like cut out the rays that would give you cancer. There was like no scientific evidence for it whatsoever.
Where did she get these? She
could buy
just
them
had a
from
guy, or it fell off the back of the.
As far as I remember, the chemist sold them. So you could buy them in the chemist, but then I think she was buying them from like some randomer. And then
did she think they worked, or she was just covering her bases? Because this is what I like about this zip drive. This is a $400
She
zip
believed
drive.
it worked, yeah.
So this is a $400 zip drive, and it claims will stop you getting viruses from 5G. So the interesting thing there is the wording. Like, if I bought that and was like, actually, this is fraud, this is bollocks, and then I was the lawyer for the USB, I'd be like, it's worked. You don't have like, you're not getting any viruses.
You don't. Do you have coronavirus? No. Well,
yeah. Fuck you. It worked.
It worked.
Yeah. Prove otherwise, dick. Drop the mic. Walk out the. This is why I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah, but then you, as stubborn as you'd be like in a fucking care home licking patients just to get it.
Wait, what?
You'd be like, I'll show you I can get COVID-19. Come here, old person.
So, all right, okay, yeah. Sorry, I switched from the person who got duped by the USB from the lawyer. Yeah, no, that's just, and it was a government agency or something that bought them, and then, fucking Muppets, mate. Muppets.
Wait a second. Government agency bought that?
Yeah, it was, but like it wasn't like the FBI or something. It was like a local town council were like, oh, we've invested in these USBs, and then they tweeted it, and that's how it got into the news.
Like a Parks and Recreation.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly the kind of
Leslie knows is the one behind it.
Man,
that's good. Have you? Well, this is kind of close to home here, meaning home.
That's either Venezuela or Curacao.
No, Caribbean, but yeah, in and around. I think a lot of people like get stuck in their bubble. Like you talk to people back home. What are you doing? Well, isolating and so on and so forth. But you never think about other people who have a different lifestyle. And for those who are traveling in yachts or boats, or you say yachts like it's a really fancy thing, but for many people the lifestyle choice is not exactly super fancy. It's like you're kind of camping for 6 months of the year, and you go back to your life in the UK or France or wherever, and it's maybe not always like luxury, right? Like, so you live on a breadline also. So for a lot of people, they're stuck in the Caribbean now. So the Caribbean is a real cruising territory for yachties, and like they go from the north to the south, and they go through the Panama Canal, and they do the Pacific and so on. But a lot of people get stuck on different islands now, and then they weren't able to move anywhere else. Luckily for those who are stuck on Bonaire, we are out of the hurricane zone, and we typically catch tail ends of hurricanes, and it's never really anything more than a storm. Not a crushing thing that you see in Puerto Rico or St. Martin. So a lot of people are now stuck here, and hurricane season is coming. So these people would have moved, put their boats on the dry, and been able to get a flight home to wherever they're from, go back to their jobs, etc. Now they can't.
Because tomorrow's June the 1st. I think the season officially starts June 15th, something like that.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. So a lot of people are stuck now, and hurricane season is approaching. It's not fear mongering. It's just like it's planning, right? Because you're going by boat, so it takes you a couple of weeks to do anything, right? And so if you take that into consideration, the longer it gets, the worse it's going to be for those on the boats. And a lot of people are stuck now. Yeah, awaiting probably a pretty busy hurricane season. There's one guy from Ireland who made local news. He's from Derry, so it's very close to where I'm from in Ireland. And he has one arm. He's traveling solo on the boat, and he is stuck in St. Martin. He's not even stuck in a marina. He's not allowed to be in the marina, because I think he came to St. Martin after lockdown restrictions came into place, so they wouldn't let him there. So he had to like drop anchor somewhere, and he's really stuck now. So he's having difficulty even getting food and fresh water, supplies, fucking engine oil, fuel, anything. He's having severe difficulty getting any of that, and he can't move to another island because, well, all islands now are locked down. So he's now going to make a transatlantic passage on his own just before before the hurricane season comes into place. And it's like him and at the time that I read the article, it was like 20 other boats that were going to be doing the same thing for the same reasons. So
were they going to meet up and do like a kind of Wagons East?
Correct.
Kind of,
yeah. They'll
I know it's
together.
Wagons West. It's a John Candy reference. But
they'll cross together.
Okay,
yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
because that must be fucking terrifying.
Brutal, right?
But you would have thought, like, after 2 weeks, well, it's been way longer than that. Like, we're having that here. Like, I mean, the ports were closed. They've been closed for months now.
Yeah. There
must be, like, allowances for reparation where you've been on your boat on your own for 2 months.
Yeah.
They'd be like, all right, it's probably okay.
Well, here they're not letting anyone else in.
You're armless.
I like that. That was good.
Sorry.
But I also think that, right? You mean, the option that he takes now is also very severe, So instead of, it's the uncertainty that fucks with everyone, because you don't know when the restrictions will lift on some of the islands, such as Bonaire, so you can't plan to move south because you don't know when these restrictions will lift, so you can't do it. So you can't play the game, and you wait for 3 months, and then it still doesn't lift, and then you're up shit creek because St. Martin.
So we've got to worry about the yachties, swingers. What are they doing? Like, fucking hell.
Yeah, exactly. What are they doing?
They've got to be monogamous for a few months.
Are they just doing it? Are they just
in
doing
Holland?
it in parks?
So Bonaire is a Dutch municipality. But in Holland they have issued, or in the Netherlands they've issued a decree that you need to find yourself a fuck buddy, essentially. I don't think they phrased it, but you should find yourself a sex partner for quarantine. Did you not see that one?
No.
That one just popped into my head, but yeah.
The news story just popped into your head.
Yes, I do not have any information written down, but yeah, they were like so I guess they're just saying, all you Jersey Shore types, like, fucking simmer down, just have a sex partner, have one, like, until this all melt. Don't be bouncing around going down the local park dogging. Although dogging's probably alright. I think that's in a car. Like, you just make sure the windows are wind up. Alright. So
Yeah.
Maybe
yeah,
for-
there's definitely social distancing
yeah.
involved.
So maybe for you swingers listening, try a bit of dogging if you've not. That's my advice. I've got one more story.
Was that from Fauci or
Fauci? What's Fauci?
Dr. Fauci? Was he like, you know?
Oh
just,
shit! Are you making? I'm missing the reference. Who's Dr. Fauci?
Oh, he's the U.S. He was the U.S. medic in charge of the pandemic.
Ah shit! I feel like I should have known that.
It's all right. Let's
Well,
go.
we just lost a lot of like influencer or like listener faith in us in our knowledge. At least I feel like you've got more knowledge than I do on these things. I just do better research.
Fuck off.
I have left my. I've written some jokes,
Oh, wow.
but they're really
I think
they're really
you got this
offensive.
mistaken with open mic night, but go on ahead.
I know, but
you just watched the Joker.
I
last
watched
night.
the
You
Joker
watched
and I
him
was
bomb.
like, I'll do the same. But these are quite offensive. So we're 57 minutes in. Well, no. So no.
Go for it.
So it is a news story, and I just like kind of doodled something. So because of the social distancing that is in place, there has been a Detroit priest who is now using a water pistol, so a squirt gun, to spray holy water in mass. So it was like this was an old Easter story, and he's going around spraying the holy water from his squirt gun. And I have written, the altar boys say they definitely prefer the squirt gun to what he usually sprays us with.
That is great.
Sorry.
That is
Apologize.
great. Wow, you've upped your game.
No. Apparently the priest was wearing a face shield, a mask, and rubber gloves, which he usually reserves for the weekends, but he's having to wear these full time right now.
Oh, God.
And apparently it's become an instant meme, this Detroit police, but I decided against Googling priest squirting. So I didn't see
Oh,
the
you
names.
should have started with that one, because that would have been like, that's poor. Give me the better one.
That's it. That's my jokes.
Well, they were good, considering you made them yourself. They were good.
All right, guys. Have you got anything else in your notes for this week?
An Irish pizzeria created a tato pizza. For those of you who do not know what tato is, they are crisps or chippies, and it is like, well, when you order a cola, you don't say, "Can I have a cola?" You say, "Can I have a Coke?" Well, a lot of people will.
He's a ginger, mate. Some iron brew.
Oh yeah, and in Ireland, a lot of people will just say, "I'll have a bag of tato," and that could go for any type of crisp. Which means that tato is like, you know, kind of the standard that a lot of Irish people will go to for crisps.
But cheese and onion is their go-to now.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
like, if you're gonna get
Cheese and onion is the way forward. So these guys have created a pizza, and really, I was like, oh, it sounds disgusting. Then
Is created the word you want to use? It sounds like they've just put some chips or some crisps on a pizza.
No, they didn't.
Oh.
They actually created a pizza
plot-
around it.
The plot thickens.
And I watched their promotional video for it, and it is brilliant. It's a pizza base with butter instead of a sauce, and then they put ham and cheese, ham, and then you put the tato on top of it, so it's
Right.
cheese and onion tato, which is really crispy, and then you cover it then with mozzarella, stick it in the oven, and it comes out, and oh my god, it looks great.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, like it's.
But what
salivating looking
defines
at
a
it.
pizza? Do you not have tomato sauce to define it as a pizza?
No, you can have an Alfredo pizza, which is a white sauce. So
So is it just the shape? Any kind of circular bread with shit on it is a pizza?
yeah, probably yeah.
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 All right. Italy, get in touch. We're probably just like all our Italian viewers will be like, you can't see me, but they'll be doing.
I do have a few Italian friends. I might send it on to them to see what they think about
be
it. But,
fucking raging, right?
Yeah, probably.
Like, that's not a pizza.
You bastardo.
That is flatbread with some crisps on it, you dick.
But yeah, that will be something I'll travel to Cork for whenever I'm at home.
Yeah, bring me one. Sounds awesome.
I will.
Fucking A.
Alright.
Alright, guys, it's been a pleasure. I hope we've entertained you for the last hour, and if not, well, you just wasted an hour of your life. So go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Send us a message to let us know. But yeah, check us out on Facebook. We put all our sources on there, and yeah, just stay safe.
Yeah. Stay positive. Not COVID positive, but
Or HIV.
oh god.
This last 5 minutes we've gone down.
You gotta edit, man.
That's really when the wine bottle's like at its dregs. We're almost finished. Actually, if we do 3 more seconds, I don't have to edit, and the song kicks in.
Boom.